The following video contains graphic images. Yep, that's a graphic all right. Hi, Tony from Micro Center, and today we're going to be talking about graphics cards. So what's a graphic anyway? Well, it's something the computer generated. Yep, no lakes, no mountains, no clouds, all of it computer generated and displayed by your graphics card. Look at your computer screen. Look at any computer screen. Everything you're looking at is graphics nowadays. It's not always the case, so let's take a little trip down memory lane and see how we got to where we are today. Go back way back in the Wayback Time Machine, and there was a time when text was text. The computer would send the code for the letter A, and the device at the other end of the wire would print a letter A. And I mean print, usually on a piece of paper. Very, very limited. If the machine didn't have the characters you wanted, it just couldn't display them. Video display terminals were a major step forward. You'd send it a code, and the terminal would decide which pixels to light up. Graphics are on the horizon. Get ready for the next all-important step. That yellow arrow is pointing at a computer whose sole job it was to take commands from another computer and draw such high-end graphics as circles, wiggly lines, rectangles. Okay, it doesn't look like much, but we had to go through that before we could get to our next step. And how did we get there? Well, in the back room, some guys were doing what guys always do: create computer games. Believe it or not, this was the must-have computer game at one point. It was called Pong, and it was a major advancement because you could now have in your own living room a small computer that knew how to write graphics on your TV screen. Yep, that little pong ball going back and forth captivated people. Fast forward to the future, and you get Avatar, all computer graphics. Okay, so a quick review. A graphics card takes commands from a computer program, decides how to display them on your screen, and displays them for you. Simple. Now, which card's right for you? Well, if you know, hop in the car, come on down to Micro Center and pick one out. Hey, what happens if you don't know? Well, hop in the car, come on down to Micro Center, and we'll help you pick one out. But before we give you the answer, we're going to ask you a question. And that question's pretty simple. And it's the same question we ask all the time when someone comes into Micro Center. What do you want to do? Now, don't let this pop quiz throw you, because it's multi-choice. So here's a couple of categories of the kind of things you might want to do on your computer, and those will determine what type of graphics card you want. Now, after talking to our friendly, knowledgeable sales reps about what you're trying to do, remember to put in that all-important, "Oh yeah, I'd also like to be able to," because most times that's the real application that determines what you're going to be doing and what graphics card we need to pick out for you. So you've been talking to your geek friend, admitted you've got one, and they're real helpful in giving you all kinds of specs and background and technical detail. Let's go over a few of those now and then get back to what you really want to do, which is see something pretty on the screen. Coke or Pepsi, Chevy or Ford? Well, in the graphics world, it all comes down to chipsets, and chips do go well with Coke or Pepsi. But these chips are the ATI or NVIDIA chipsets. Now, it doesn't matter which manufacturer's card you're buying, all of them use one of those two sets, and your friend probably has a very strong opinion about which one is best. What's best for you? Depends on what you're doing. So what's the difference between a $50 video card and a $700 video card? What do you get for that extra money? On the hardware side, you get faster components, more memory, the ability to process much more complex instructions from your computer. On the software side, which is also built onto the card, by the way, more sophisticated algorithms, fancy word for saying this is how it makes the image look much, much more like real life. We've all been to the eye doctor when they say better one or better two. Look for a minute on the image on the left. Now, when that came out, that was a pretty stunning image. Roll forward a couple of years, the technology gets better, and that same image is rendered in a much more sophisticated way. So, which one do you think looks better? Depending on which one you picked, that will help guide your video graphic card selection. Sooner or later, it comes down to picking a make and model of a card, so let's go over some of the basics of what you need to think about when you are picking out that video card, once you've decided what you want to do with it, of course. The motherboard determines which type of video card you can add to your system. Current computers use a slot type called PCI Express, but if you've got an older machine, you may see AGP or even PCI in your owner's manual or the website describing your motherboard. Something else to worry about is whether you've actually got room on the motherboard for the card you're picking out. Notice here on this motherboard that there are some components pretty close to the slot for the video card. Yep, it's one of those things you need to worry about, so again, if you've got any concerns, bring your motherboard with you so we can make sure you get the right video card. Some video cards will run off the power delivered directly to the motherboard. Some require not only more power, but specialized connectors. Usually the more powerful the card, well, the more power it needs. And last but not least, do you have the right type of connection on the back of your computer and on the back of the monitor? Two popular computer interfaces are on the left-hand side of the screen. DVI, the kind of rectangular connector, and VGA. Go over the right-hand side of the screen and you see the interfaces more popular on TVs. Composite video, the yellow connector at the top, S-video, and component video. The newest TVs and the newest graphics cards have one additional connector called HDMI. This combines high-definition video and audio on one cable and one signal. Good to look for in your next purchase. Okay, in summary, it all boils down to this. What are you trying to do? How real do you want it to look? How fast do you want it to display? All of that will determine how powerful and how sophisticated your graphics card needs to be. This is Tony from Micro Center. Thanks for tuning in. We now return to our game, already in progress.